What's up, Roos, and welcome back to another episode of RooNews, UMKC's one and only news broadcast show. We're here to bring you the latest news from around campus and Kansas City every Tuesday. UMKC currently has 18 confirmed COVID-19 cases since school started on August 24th. Kansas City, Missouri has 9,280 lab confirmed cases and 101 deaths due to coronavirus. The university publishes reports of confirmed cases of COVID-19 on its coronavirus communications webpage. Some students, however, think that the university is not being forthcoming enough about cases on campus. We turn to RooNews reporter Christian Martinez for more.
For this week's Man on the Streets, I interviewed a couple students from UMKC on how they think the university is handling the situation.
Yeah, I think they're doing a great job from my perspective. As far as policy, encouraging students to wear masks, all over campus, encouraging social distancing measures.
And helping us to adjust, and they're really lenient with things too, which has helped a lot, so it's not as stressful, but I think it'll start to get better as the year goes on.
I also asked these students why they think masks are so important during these times.
Beneficial for everyone to be wearing masks, especially when there are positive cases on campus as of right now.
Plenty of scientific evidence that wearing a mask, helps decrease the spread of the virus.
Everyone should be wearing masks because I feel like the more people are wearing their masks and taking it seriously, the faster that we're going to start seeing progress.
This is Christian Martinez from RooNews, sending it right back to the studio.
UMKC administration recently introduced a new app to help students monitor their health and keep campus safe. The app, called Campus Screen, tracks symptoms by having users complete a short questionnaire. Users will receive the results of the screening immediately. If the student is not currently experiencing any symptoms, they will get a campus pass, which they will use to enter events on campus. If you are experiencing symptoms of coronavirus, however, make sure to stay home and contact your healthcare provider.
With COVID-19 still in mind, the Chiefs are trying to figure out how to open up the stadium while also following social distancing guidelines. While working with local officials to figure out a safe capacity for the Arrowhead Stadium, they have come up with the allowance of about 22% of fans in the stadium at one time. This would allow roughly 17,000 fans in the stadium during games. Not only have the Chiefs been busy worrying about COVID, they're also worrying about voting. I mean, who isn't? The president of the Chiefs, Mark Donovan, has hinted at the possibility of turning the popular stadium into a polling location for the November 3rd election. Moving on with yet another continuous worry, in the wake of the police shooting of Jacob Blake in Kenosha, Wisconsin on August 23rd, sports teams in the NBA, MLS, MLB, and WNBA have begun boycotting and striking in order to show their support for the Black Lives Matter movement. That's it for your sports update. Back to you, Henry.
Community leaders organized a historic march on Kansas City last Friday. For more information on the march, we turn to RooNews reporter Alexander Paul.
On Friday, September 4th, 2020, in honor of the 57th anniversary of MLK's March on Washington, the first ever annual march on Kansas City took place. Presented by Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the Urban League of Greater Kansas City, and the NAACP, the march started on 12th and Locust and congregated at the World War I Memorial. Their main purpose, to exercise their right to protest, to end KCPD racism and brutality, to lift up emerging civil rights leaders, and to, quote, rock the vote on November 3rd. A humongous crowd gathered chanting, Fire Chief Rick Smith's No Justice, No Peace, and Black Lives Matter. They also remember those lost to police violence, chanting familiar names like George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, and KC native names like Ryan Stokes, Cameron Lamb, Donnie Sanders, and Breonna Hill, all of which who've been victim to KC police violence. Once at the World War I Memorial, crowds gathered to hear speakers of all ages speak about the Black Lives Matter movement. People who served during the civil rights movement and started groups like the NAACP and SCLC reminded those gathered of the strength and endurance that was needed for the civil rights movement and encouraged those at the march to have that strength. SGA President Brandon Henderson spoke about how UMKC students fought for change in May and June and stated that KCPD cannot stop UMKC's student body with fear. He also encourages UMKC students to keep fighting until justice is served. The overall solution to police brutality communicated that evening was to continue to assemble, have important conversations with people, and to vote, vote, vote.
Alexander Paul, RooNews.
The National Endowment for the Humanities is granting $300,000 for an interdisciplinary research project at UMKC. The research project, which involves the computer science, chemistry, history, and English departments, focuses on analyzing medieval manuscripts. The College of Arts and Sciences is introducing a new department. The Race, Ethnic, and Gender Studies department will be chaired by Professor Toya Like. We now turn to RooNews reporters CC Campbell and Jacob Lee for more.
What's up, Roos? It's your boy Jacob Lee and
CC Campbell, and today we got to talk to the amazing Professor Toya Like about the new department in the Colleges of Arts and Sciences.
So REGS sort of is the umbrella for 3 programs that have already existed here at UMKC. So under it falls Latin and Latin American Studies, Black Studies, as well as Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies. So these were separate programs that were offered, and students, and still can currently, even under the new umbrella of REGS, students can minor, but REGS will also be a major that is offered to our students, and they can have an emphasis area in either of those topical subjects.
what classes are actually going to be offered?
So we are still, because it's a newly formed department, we are still working on developing the major. And so we are hoping that will come to fruition in this, after this academic year.
Thanks so much for talking with us today, Professor Lank. This is Jacob Lee reporting, and
CC Campbell, back to you in the studio.
That's all we have for you this week. Don't forget to subscribe to Roo TV and make sure to follow RooNews on Instagram and check out unews.com for more news from around campus in Kansas City. This has been Henry Gamber with RooNews. Stay safe out there, Roos.